should I actually work one more year or should I just retire right now? So this question comes up all the time. Pretty much every consultation is they have a retirement in mind. They're like, what happens if I work one more year? Just one more year. I just think it'll work a little better. So let's answer the question, should you do that? Now, oftentimes when people are asking this is they know they have a good probability of retiring at a certain age. They just think it's going to be a little bit better going one more year. So the first thing that happens when we work one more year is we're going to get our salary for another full year, right? So we got to collect our salary. So it's one more year of income. Now with that salary, we can do things like we're going to fund Social Security for one more year. So we're putting more contributions in there so we get higher payouts in the future. We're going to earn more service credits. So our pension is now going to increase. We're going to make retirement contributions. So we're going to save money into our Plan 3, deferred comp, things like that. So we have a lot of pluses going for us. Hey, if I wait one more year, I'm going to earn more money through my salary. Social Security's going to be bigger, pension's going to be bigger. I have more money in there. And if that's your mindset, what happens if you just wait 2 years or 3 years? It's always going to be more and more and more. At some point, you got to call where the line is, like where's enough to enough and where can I go, right? Now, if we really do the math on it, like, hey, what is one more year? What is that actually worth? What does that actually, do for me? So let's make some assumptions here, right? So let's look at the difference between 62 and 63 as far as retirement goes. So if at 62, we had 30 years of service credits, right? That's our service credits here. We would also have 31 at 63. So our pension is going to be a little bit bigger. And then we have Social Security that we're also going to be funding for 1 year longer. So we'd have bigger Social Security potentially at 63. But let's actually run the numbers on it. So let's just say, for example, to keep things easy, let's just say top 5-year average, which is what you use when you calculate your state pension plans in Washington, 100,000, say that was average. Let's just say this guy's plan 3. So I got 30 years, you get 1% for every year you work, he has 30%. So at 62, he could walk away in full and he could grab $30,000 per year. Now, what happens if I worked one more year? Oh, you got 31 years, 31% of 100,000. Now you got 31,000, right? So you worked one full year. You get one full year retirement and you get extra $1,000 per year. That's it. That was your reward for going one more year, right? So it's less than $100. You get a full year retirement for less than $100 per month. Now, what about Social Security? Social Security only goes off of your top 30 years. After that, it will replace lower years in there. So usually your earlier years are getting replaced. But at that point, the formula isn't going to change all that much unless you're making drastically more. When you're replacing 1 out of 30 years, once you go past that 30-year threshold, you're not really affecting the formula all that much. So let's just say, for example, at 62, the monthly benefit was $2,000 here. Maybe you're at $2,050. So it increased a little bit, but it's not going to be a drastic increase. Delaying retirement just 1 year isn't going to make it like dramatically better. And I might have lowballed it here, but the point is it's not going to be like crazy different, right? So what happens at work one more year? Well, you're going to earn a little bit more money. The question you need to answer is this enough for me to give up a full year of retirement, right? And for some people it's yes, and others it's not. A lot of people are shocked when I show them the difference here of, you get up a whole year and you got an extra $1,000. Like, that's not worth it. I'm just going to retire now. And that's the point. Is once you put it on paper, you can see the difference between them. Retire early usually looks a little bit better. Oh, but I also get to, save a little bit more, right? I get more retirement contributions. True, right? And if I had $1 million at 62, I would hopefully have more than that at 63. The same is true if you retire at 62 and didn't touch and it grew. Just because you're tired doesn't mean it's not growing. Yes, you may not be contributing to it, but it's still growing. And once you hit a critical mass number, like $1 million, it doesn't take much interest for it to really move. A 10% return, you're looking at $100,000 in gain. 5% return, that's still $50,000 that your account's going up just from interest at that point. So yeah, there's retirement contributions that you're missing out on, but you may not need it. So another thing you get at is, do you actually need the extra income? If let's say 30 to about 54,000, let's say 54,000 is what this was, right? At 62, our estimated income was $54,000. Now, if I said, hey, how much are you actually spending? You're like, well, I own my home. I only need maybe $3,000 to cover my bills, or $4,000. Great. I only need $48,000. I now have a surplus of $6,000 per se. Yeah, there's still insurance and things are going to come up. But for the most part, our fixed income sources, the pension and Social Security, are going to cover most of our expenses here. So we still should have some kind of a surplus. And if I want to wait 1 year, yeah, it's 54, maybe 56,000 or something like that. So it increases our floor a little bit. So we might have a little bit more left over. But, do we really need this extra money left over? In most cases, it's not. So working over years gives you a mindset thing of they don't feel ready yet. They're worried about the unknown. And the number one comment I get for people that we've worked with that have retired is they regret not doing it sooner. They didn't know how much they would enjoy retirement or how pleasant it was until they were actually in it for a few months, until the next school year came around. And a day school starts and you don't have an alarm to go off to. You don't have to wake up in the dark in the wintertime. You don't have to go give up some days in your summer to go into the classroom and do planning or clean up the classroom or anything like that. So there's a lot of things that people don't miss when they go retire really earlier. So if you're thinking about, hey, what if I go for one more year? This is pretty much what it's going to look like. So another way to think about this is working one more year is like running one extra lap on the track. It might get you closer to your step goal or your mileage goal, but it's also going to make you more tired. At some point, you got to know when to stop running. When is enough enough? The same applies to your work. So once you can kind of get this concept through, put the numbers on paper to see what the difference is, a lot of people realize that working one more year probably isn't worth it. And yes, you get another year's salary. So if this person were age 63, you would have earned an extra $100,000. But if we're working one more year, it means we're not collecting, where this person could have got 30. So the difference is he really only made an extra $70,000, right? So if he worked one full year, he got a $100,000 salary versus someone that retired, gave up their $100,000 salary for the pension. The difference there is only $70,000. So you're not getting as much by working an additional year. Now, it's a personal decision. It's something that shouldn't be taken lightly. You should have some kind of expert help you weigh these options, run the numbers a little more cleanly. This is just kind of back of the napkin drawing, just concepts for you guys to understand. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Feel free to join me over on our free community. The link to that's in the description below. That's where I post a lot of exclusive content nowadays. So feel free to head over there. And until next time, remember that your future depends on what you do today.